to put music behind us, like streamers do.
Oh, sure. I
Fill
mean,
in the
so
awkward silence.
I've been working on so like I have that Fender thing that I brought to Nashville last March that has like all the conventional effects in it. So I've been selling off my actual pedals that are like conventional and just getting like really weird stuff. Um, I have something I can just self oscillate. We can
Honestly, like the end of like old Manchester Orchestra shows where it just oscillates into the encore. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
what a great way to start. Well, we can start this, and if anybody comes on, we're new to this stuff, so it works out. But hey, we're Coyote Theory. Obviously, you know that if you're watching this, we're going to try to go live more. We're going to try to chit chat more on our songs coming up. I'm Jason. This is Grayson. Uh, Still, our album, we announced it's coming out March 14th, which I think someone said was Pi Day, which is amazing. I failed algebra, so I would have had no idea. Uh, but I want to go track by track. So if anybody joins in the chat, feel free to leave Q&A. Otherwise, we're just going to walk through track by track each week of a couple of the different songs from Still and stories from them. So, Grayson, is there anything top of mind? Is there any song you want to start with and kind of walk through?
Um, I don't know. I think a personal favorite slash like achievement for this record would be oh well, personally, uh because I had a lot to do with it. So I guess that's where I would start.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh Well's an interesting one. So Oh Well is the first time that uh, Colby and you both shared vocals on one of our songs. Um, in the past, you've done background vocals when we've done gigs, and um, our old guitar players, both Dominic Reed and Lane Bowman, also did background vocals. But this is the first time that somebody else has actually kind of had those moments. So, where did this song come from?
Um, let's see. I don't know. At this point, it has been rattling around since probably 2022. In like a very infant stage then, but obviously like writing it up until it became a song. We were like, yeah, let's put it on the record. I typically don't like to write vocals. Like I just like the music part of it and leave that elsewhere. But that came. I was listening to a lot of Bahamas and was kind of inspired from that. And then I found that if I can get the first line of something, oftentimes the rest of it will follow. Um, and that's one of those instances where it was a moment in life where I felt like um, retrospectively I could see a lot of growth and just kind of like the path that was laid out ahead of me. And just kind of like, I don't know, living in that for a minute because it's nice every now and again to remember while this is like a forever progression in life, you know, you gotta champion your achievements every now and again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've always liked in our music, not to, pat ourselves on the back, but uh, anytime that we are able to give people, I don't know, every adverb to analyze lyrics and stories in our songs, I think is when we win in writing songs. And Oh Well is a great example of I can listen to that song and I can get 5 or 6 different meanings for myself personally. Um, so I'm really excited to hear other people's interpretations, to hear other people's covers of it and stuff, and what they pull out of it. Because I think the best songs, like I said, have every adverb available. Um, oh well, for me on the drum side, uh, Grayson, you laid out like a really great pattern in the demo, which we followed when we carried it into the drums, to the point where you are actually the person playing the drums on this, because I took it into the studio, and Tony, who helped us record the drums, uh, we both sat there and listened, and we're like, we're not going to recapture this sound that you got for OL, and it's very specific, and it sounds really just correct in the mix, and it complements it. So I threw my hands up and I was like, I have no ego, I have no pride. Like I love the way this is. And so this is
Well,
I think the first time you've actually played drums on a recording for us. Because
yeah,
before you used to play, if anybody watching this in the future or right now, has ever seen us play live, the last song in our set was always one that you played drums on, and I moved over and played the vibraphone. That was a song called Senses. So, but this is the first time your drums are actually laid down permanently.
Yeah, which I I don't know. I didn't expect that because I remember when we were talking about that, and you were asking like what it was. Because oftentimes, like when we do the demos, it'll be like a Logic drummer or whatever. But like, I just did that because like I moved finally got into a space where I could have a drum kit and was just like, let's just mess around. And
Yeah,
then had no intention of that being like the final thing. But then yeah, that's what it became. So um,
it's a great
yeah,
one. Let's do one more. I think we do. Anybody just joining, you can watch this later to it and hear me say it. But we'll go track by track. We have a new album coming out March 14th called Still. If you haven't pre-saved it yet, you can find all the links in the bios and you can save them. Makes us feel happy, if anything else. But we want to go track by track. We want to go talk on these songs. So maybe we do two today. We'll come back here in a couple of days, do two more until we get to the whole album,
the whole thing. Yeah.
the whole kit and caboodle. One of the ones I want to go over is, hmm, oh, I would love to go over How We Live Now. I think that was the first single we released at the start of the summer last year. And it was a really fun one. We shot a fun music video in Nashville with our buddy Sam Link, rented a car, kind of had some fun doing something different. We're really mindful with how we live now that this is a direction that everything is going to kind of go in as far as the sound. And we wanted it to be the same for the visuals. So when we thought about this and we thought about these darker colors, it's like moment, How We Live Now stood out for us, at least for me and Grayson, you can chime in as well, as the song that's predicting that things need to change, predicting that things can't be, still the way they were, still the way they were going. Um, there's a little bit of implications, of the lockdown that we all went through in 2020, which was when that song was first kind of conceived. Um, so it's really interesting now to see how that song's kind of taking on its own life and taking on its own. Uh, I don't know. It's kind of morphing into this thing, just given whatever climate it's in, and I kind of love that.
Yeah. Um, I feel like that one. So prior to 2020, we had kind of like started loosely writing, but I kind of feel that How We Live Now was the first song that we were like, okay, like maybe we can make something around this. And like that was started probably mid 2020. Um, and yeah, I think it totally was a COVID song because I think we were all just stuck in our houses, and so um, yeah, I was listening to a lot of Parcels at the time, so I
Yeah,
was kind of like wanting to achieve a vibe in that realm. But I think that we, put our own spin on it because that's what happens. But yeah, I think all aspects of that are something that I feel proud about. I think the video was really cool and just I don't know something fun to do. It was so hot that day. This was a car from what 1979, so
yeah.
we had it was T-topped, and so didn't matter if the AC was on because I don't even know if it had it, but it was so hot.
It
It
didn't
was
matter
just we
either
had to
way, and
drive fast to feel anything.
it's great now in the video. Uh, we left in a clip of us out of the car, but I had never expected to get out of the car. So I'm wearing like the shortiest of short shorts, like I just tried to stay cool. So it kind of became this funny thing. Um, I love that you brought up the parcels because I wanted to kind of, I don't know how else to say it, but double click on it. I hate that phrase. But I want to like go into it a little bit more because one of the ways that we've always gone as far as writing songs is not outright, doing the Bruno Mars thing of being like, this song is written for somebody else, or the Billy Joel thing of like, I wrote this for Paul McCartney when I was singing it. But we swap back and forth a lot, songs that we're really inspired by. And that starts to really impact the songwriting process, not direct ripping or stealing or anything like that, but just really giving us this vibe. And I know at that time with How We Live Now, the Parcels were one that we were talking about and swapping songs a lot. In the past, we've had different ones, but like when we come to think about songwriting, it's not just kind of by ourselves bring it in. It's really here's an idea, here's a riff, and then we also are having this conversation about what it reminds us of, what other bands it reminds us of. Oh, this sounds like this, which would go, complementary with an idea like this that this other band did. So I just think it's a really cool way that we've gone about this process before. So I wanted to make sure to highlight it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that limitations sometimes can be a good thing. Like, we put ourselves in a box, but it's like how far into the wall can we push? Kind of. Yeah. So I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we have more songs, we have more stories. How many songs are on still? Is it
I think
12,
12.
13? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we should probably know.
Yeah.
It's so many, guys. It's so many. And we'll do more of these. We don't want to make this too long. We're not Markiplier. We're not a Twitch streamer. We're not going to be on here for 2 hours talking through stuff. But um, next time we'll do two more. If anybody has any requests for them, just or any requests for questions, leave them in the chat of this Q&A, and we'll come back on here again and do two more.
Cool.
Cool. And once again, pre-save the album if you haven't. Still's coming out in just 12 more
2
days.
weeks.
Yeah, less than 2 weeks. And then watch out for some pre-orders, potentially vinyls in the future for that if you're a vinyl collector. So stay tuned on Instagram and stuff for links for that.